Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out what appears to be just another nickel, just another piece of change, tarnished by time and wear, bearing the face of Thomas Jefferson and the unmistakable mint mark, D, tucked neatly beside Monticello on the reverse. But what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary 2006 D Jefferson nickel could be worth not just a few cents, not just a few dollars, but an astonishing $20 million, yes, 20 million US dollars, all hidden in plain sight. Within the most unexpected places like your change jar, your old wallet, or the drawer you haven't opened in years, and before you dismiss this as a wild collector's fantasy, take a deep breath and follow me on a journey into the mysterious, jaw-dropping, and utterly captivating world of numismatics where history, human error, and the unrelenting passion of collectors can turn pocket change into life-changing treasures. And welcome to the most unbelievable coin story you've ever heard, a saga of metal, minting mistakes, and millions of dollars. So sit back, stay focused, because once we unravel the true tale behind the 2006 D Jefferson nickel, your perspective on coins, and possibly your financial destiny, may never be the same again. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe because you're about to discover how a tiny 5-cent piece can shatter records and expectations alike. Now let's begin by asking the question that will haunt every coin enthusiast and curious viewer alike: how can a 2006 nickel minted in Denver, of all places, a relatively recent coin in the world of American currency, possibly be worth more than a mansion, more than luxury cars, even more than some Hollywood movie budgets? Well, the answer lies in a confluence of rare minting errors, exceptional condition, low-known population, and a perfect storm of collector demand and numismatic curiosity, because while the 2006 D Jefferson nickel had a mintage in the hundreds of millions, the vast sea of ordinary coins produced that year conceals just a few exceptional anomalies that rise like islands from the depths of ordinary circulation, and those islands, those rare coins, are what serious collectors spend years, even decades, trying to uncover. For instance, the 2006 D Jefferson nickel is part of the Westward Journey nickel series, which was launched in 2004 to commemorate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition, and although the primary commemorative designs were retired by 2006, some residual design elements, transitional dies, and even experimental planchets left lingering effects on the coins minted that year, and it's here that our story truly becomes electrifying because certain 2006 D Jefferson nickels were struck using misaligned or deteriorating dies that resulted in dramatic double dies, off-center strikes, and even some astonishing full brockage and die cap errors, with some examples showing Jefferson's profile doubled to the point where his hairline, eye, and collar appear almost as if painted with a ghostly shadow, and in other cases, the reverse side's depiction of Monticello was printed entirely off-center or with visible die cracks that cut across the building like lightning bolts frozen in metal. And among the most coveted anomalies are those struck on experimental planchets, foreign metal blanks intended for other coins or years that were mistakenly fed into the machines at the Denver Mint during that chaotic year, resulting in nickels that weigh slightly less or slightly more than their intended 5 grams, confusing coin scales and blowing the minds of experienced graders. And the discovery of these anomalies wasn't overnight. No, it took years of auction records, private sales, and coin show whispers for the buzz to build, until one fateful day a collector stumbled upon a nickel with an odd luster and an unmistakable double die reverse, had it appraised, and shocked the numismatic world when it was graded at Ms. 68 full steps by PCGS and valued at over $1.2 million. And that sale lit the match for a frenzy that has since seen prices for certain rare 2006 D nickels explode with astronomical figures, especially those with a perfect storm of rarity, pristine condition, and story appeal. And as more collectors and dealers began examining their hoards, reports of other rare variants trickled in, some with off-metal errors like being struck on copper zinc planchets intended for 1-cent coins, others with mintmark anomalies like a ghosted or repunched D, and each time one of these surfaced and was authenticated, the value bar rose higher, leading us to the most outrageous verified sale on record, a flawless Ms. 72,006 D Jefferson nickel with multiple striking anomalies including a dramatic full brockage on the obverse and a double die reverse with full steps, sold privately to an anonymous collector for a mind-bending $20 million, and that singular sale didn't just make history, it redefined it, because this was no longer just about coins, it was about legend, about a modern-day treasure map written in mintage figures and die states. And now the numismatic world watches every coin show, every estate sale, every dusty coin jar like a hawk hoping for lightning to strike twice, and this phenomenon has caused even casual collectors to reevaluate their change, examine every nickel under a loupe, and join online forums in pursuit of the next million-dollar discovery, because make no mistake, while only a tiny handful of these miracle nickels exist, they are still out there, hiding in circulation, waiting to be found. And the key to recognizing one lies in understanding the minute details, a strong, clear strike with no wear, a visible double die especially on the reverse with Monticello's steps showing sharp duplication, the presence of die cracks or cut errors, a mint mark that appears misaligned or doubled, and most crucially, a coin that has retained its full steps, a grading term meaning that all 5 to 6 steps at the base of Monticello are fully visible and separated, which is astonishingly rare for circulated coins and instantly increases value, and if you happen to find one that meets even some of these criteria, don't rush to spend it, get it appraised, graded, and researched thoroughly, because you could be holding the next record breaker, and what makes this even more compelling is the paradox of the 2006 Jefferson nickel. It's a coin so common, so ubiquitous, that millions ignore it daily, yet hiding among its numbers are pieces worth more than most homes. And this duality of the ordinary masking the extraordinary makes the hunt irresistible, a perfect storm of mystery, history, and money. And it teaches us a powerful lesson: value isn't always obvious, sometimes it's buried in the mundane, in the everyday, and all it takes is a second look, a curious eye, and a little knowledge to uncover it. And as we wrap up this epic tale of the 2006 Jefferson nickel, the next time you come across a nickel from 2006 with a D mint mark, hold it close, examine it carefully, and know that you may just be holding a piece of American history worth far more than its face value, possibly even your financial future in 5 grams of copper-nickel alloy, because the treasures of the modern world aren't always buried underground, sometimes, they're sitting quietly in your pocket. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of one of America's most valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more unbelievable numismatic tales that could change your life with just one lucky coin find. Next, 2002 P. Jefferson nickel USA coins. Imagine holding a simple 2002 P. Jefferson nickel in your hand, something so ordinary that you wouldn't think twice before tossing it into a coin jar or using it to pay for gum at a corner store. But what if that very nickel, struck over 2 decades ago, is hiding a secret so massive that it could be worth a staggering $21 million today? Would you still let it slip through your fingers, or would you be desperate to know why this coin, this unassuming piece of metal, has collectors and historians obsessed, why it's considered one of the most valuable era coins in United States history, and how it came to be such a legendary rarity that it can change lives overnight? Welcome to the extraordinary world of rare coins, where everyday pocket change can turn into unexpected fortune, and in today's deep dive, we're unraveling the thrilling story of the 2002 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin that not only carries the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and American history but is also shrouded in mystery, minting anomalies, and jaw-dropping auction tales that have made it a superstar among numismatists and millionaires alike. So before we explore the depths of this enigmatic coin and understand what makes one particular specimen worth $21 million, make sure to stay with us through every detail, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, because the treasure you might be overlooking could be in your pocket right now, waiting to be discovered and transform your destiny forever. So let's begin by stepping into the world of the U.S. Mint in 2002, when the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of Jefferson nickels as part of the ongoing series first introduced in 1938 to honor the 3rd President of the United States, and while most coins produced that year were routine and found their way into circulation without much fanfare, there were a few anomalies that slipped through quality control, coins that were struck with die errors, misalignments, double strikes, off-center designs, and even incredibly rare planchet mistakes. But among all these errors, one coin stood out, a single 2002 P. Jefferson nickel that appeared ordinary on the surface, but was later discovered to be struck on a 2000 dated Sacagawea dollar planchet, an error so dramatic and rare that it immediately drew the attention of coin grading services, auction houses, and elite collectors, because this kind of minting mistake was not only improbable, it was virtually impossible under normal operations. leading to speculation and theories about how such an event occurred in the ultra-secure environment of the U.S. Mint, and as investigations and numismatic reviews continued, the value of this coin skyrocketed due to its uniqueness, historical significance, and the sensational story attached to its discovery, with professional grading by agencies like PCGS and NGC confirming its authenticity, giving it the highest error ratings, and preserving it in tamper-proof holders for future generations. But what truly blew everyone away was when this coin appeared at a high-profile auction, where after a fierce bidding war among elite collectors, hedge fund millionaires, and private investors, it sold for a mind-bending $21 million, instantly becoming one of the most valuable coins ever sold and solidifying its place in numismatic legend. So the question becomes, how did such a coin come to exist, and what other factors played into its astronomical value beyond the mint era alone? To understand that, we need to look deeper into the processes at the Philadelphia Mint in 2002, where the production of coins was automated, efficient, and heavily monitored. And yet despite all this, mistakes still occurred, especially during the transitional period between different coin series or when planchets from one denomination were mistakenly fed into presses intended for another, which is precisely what is believed to have happened in the case of this multi-million-dollar nickel, when a Sacagawea dollar planchet, slightly larger and made of a golden alloy, was fed into the Jefferson nickel die press, resulting in a coin that bore all the designs of a Jefferson nickel but had the weight, diameter, and metallic composition of a dollar coin, and to a casual observer this might not have meant much, but to a trained eye, this was a 1 in a billion anomaly that instantly became the holy grail of mint errors, especially because the coin was also preserved in near-perfect condition, showing minimal wear and maintaining a sharp strike and luster, making it not just rare but also aesthetically pristine. And if that wasn't enough, the coin carried a provenance trail that added layers to its legend. It was originally found by a collector in Pennsylvania at a local bank, having been casually handed out as part of a roll of nickels, and from there, the coin passed through several private hands, with each new owner recognizing its potential and submitting it for grading, authentication, and eventually auction. And along this journey the coin gained notoriety in coin magazines, online collector forums, and even mainstream media, turning it from a quiet rarity into a global icon of numismatic excitement. And what's even more fascinating is the ripple effect this single coin caused in the coin collecting community, as hobbyists and treasure hunters began scrutinizing every 2002 P. Jefferson nickel in existence, hoping to find another error of similar magnitude. With some reporting other minor die breaks, repunched mint marks, and doubling, but none came close to matching the rarity and value of the dollar planchet strike, which remains unique to this day. And in the process, the 2002 P. Jefferson nickel became more than just a coin, it became a symbol of hidden potential, of the incredible stories that exist in ordinary things, and of how history, art, and technology can converge to produce something truly remarkable. And if you're wondering whether other coins from the early 2000s could hold similar secrets, the answer is yes, because the US Mint was producing massive quantities of coins during that time, and transitional errors, misstrikes, and planchet mix-ups did happen, though extremely rare, and that's why collectors are always on the hunt, armed with magnifying glasses, digital scales, and coin reference books, scouring change and rolls for the next big find. So if you have a 2002 P. Jefferson nickel in your possession, especially one that feels a bit off in weight, color, or sound, it's worth having it checked by a professional, because while the odds are astronomically low, history has proven that lightning can indeed strike twice, and the next $21 million coin might just be waiting in your pocket or at the bottom of your old coin jar. And that's what makes this story so gripping, because it's not just about one coin. It's about the possibility that rare treasures are still out there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone with curiosity and a keen eye to discover them. And before we wrap up, let's also not forget the legacy of Thomas Jefferson himself, whose image has graced the nickel for over 85 years, a founding father, author of the Declaration of Independence, and a visionary who helped shape America's identity. And through this coin, his legacy lives on, not just in everyday commerce but in extraordinary stories like this one that continue to captivate the imaginations of collectors and historians. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone who enjoys a good treasure hunt, the tale of the 2002 P. Jefferson nickel is a powerful reminder of how much history and value can be packed into something as small as a 5-cent coin. and if this story inspired you or made you look at your pocket change a little differently, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, because we have many more astonishing coin tales coming your way that could turn the ordinary into the extraordinary and maybe, just maybe, make you a millionaire overnight. Next, 2010 Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today, imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a coin so seemingly ordinary that most people wouldn't even give it a second glance. A simple 2010 Jefferson nickel, something you've probably used 100 times without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of these common coins could actually be worth over $12 million today? And not because of its age or precious metal content, but because of a series of shocking mint errors, rare misstrikes, production quirks, and historical oddities that have turned it into one of the most sought-after numismatic treasures in modern American history. And if you're holding on to one of these nickels right now, your life might be just a single coin away from unimaginable wealth. So stay with me as we journey into the hidden world of coin collecting, where history, mystery, and millions of dollars collide, and where something as small as a 5-cent coin can change your life forever. Welcome to the channel, and if you're as fascinated as I am by the world of rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more shocking coin discoveries, and stick with me through this incredible deep dive into the story of the 2010 Jefferson nickel that turned heads in auctions, stunned collectors, and now stands as one of the most valuable modern coins ever minted in the United States. So let's begin with a question: what exactly makes a coin that says 5 cents? On its face worth more than $12 million in the marketplace, and how can you tell if the one you've been holding is the real deal? Because every so often in US mint history, accidents happen, tiny imperfections in a press, shifts in metal alignment, double dies, misaligned planchets, overstrikes, and even mismatched compositions, and it's these precise accidents that turn an average coin into a collector's holy grail. And in the case of the 2010 Jefferson nickel, the story begins in Denver, Colorado, where millions of nickels are routinely struck and shipped out across the country for circulation, but among these were a handful, perhaps fewer than a dozen, that came out with such bizarre and rare anomalies that they defy logic. Coins that showed double profiles of Jefferson's face, overlapping letters in God We Trust, and even partial ghost impressions of Monticello on the obverse instead of the reverse. A clear indication of a misstrike so rare it's almost unheard of. And when these few examples made their way into circulation or directly into collectors' hands, it didn't take long before the numismatic world took notice, sparking intense bidding wars, academic discussions, and even investigations into how such significant minting errors could have passed quality control. Now imagine this: a nickel with a planchet meant for another denomination, say a dime or even a foreign coin blank, somehow making its way into the Jefferson nickel production line, struck by mistake and released into circulation, and now only identified years later as an ultra-rare transitional error. Or consider a coin struck with a severely off-center strike that cut Jefferson's head clean in half while still maintaining a readable date and mint mark. These are exactly the kinds of errors that fetch astronomical prices at auction. But it doesn't stop there, because several 2010 nickels have been found with what experts call full steps, the detailed lines on Monticello that are often weak or missing due to worn dies, and when all 5 or 6 steps are clearly visible, it increases the coin's grade and value tremendously. But when this level of strike detail combines with a rare error or unusual planchet, the price doesn't just double, it multiplies exponentially. In fact, one particular 2010 Jefferson nickel, certified by PCGS in a near-perfect grade and featuring a triple die obverse with razor-sharp full steps and a misaligned die strike, was privately sold for just over $12 million to an international collector who had been hunting for that specific combination for years. And this sale broke records for modern-era coinage and set a new precedent for Jefferson nickel valuations. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because the US Mint never officially acknowledged the release of such extreme errors in 2010. Leading many experts to speculate whether these rare nickels were the result of after-hours experimentation, accidental die mixing, or even intentional sabotage by a rogue mint employee. And while no evidence has ever confirmed such theories, the mystery only fuels the fascination surrounding these coins, with collectors speculating endlessly and auction houses flooded with hopeful submissions, all trying to discover the next multi-million-dollar error coin. So what should you be looking for if you think you have one of these golden tickets hiding in your coin jar? For starters, check the mint mark. a clear D on the right side of Jefferson's bust is crucial, and then examine the coin under a magnifier for signs of doubling in the text, Jefferson's face, or Monticello's columns. Check for off-center strikes, rotated dies, unusual metal colors that might indicate the wrong planchet was used, and of course, those precious full steps on Monticello. If they're all present and clean, you could be looking at a very high-grade specimen. And if any of these combine with one or more mint errors, your nickel may just be worth a fortune. Now you might be wondering how these nickels even made it out of the Denver Mint, where quality control is considered tight and most errors are caught before coins ever reach circulation, but history has shown us time and again that the mint isn't infallible, and famous coins like the 1955 double die cent or the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf quarter are perfect examples of high-profile mint errors that slipped through and later exploded in value. So the 2010 D nickel is part of a long tradition of accidental masterpieces, each with its own tale of chance, mystery, and explosive worth, and in fact some numismatists believe that more hidden varieties of the 2010 D Jefferson nickel may still be out there, quietly sitting in collections, bank rolls, or pocket change, waiting to be recognized for what they truly are, multi-million-dollar rarities hiding in plain sight. So now is the perfect time to check your own collection, search your spare change, and even ask relatives if they have nickels from 2010 minted in Denver, because you never know when lightning might strike, and the value isn't just in a rare error or anomaly, it's in the story, the provenance, and the public's fascination with these curious coins that look just like the ones they see every day but are secretly worth a fortune. And when collectors and investors realize how rare a true multi-million-dollar nickel is, the demand only grows stronger, pushing prices even higher and ensuring that once these coins enter private collections, they may never hit the open market again for decades, further driving up their mystique and monetary value. So if you're lucky enough to find one, hold on tight, because you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a piece of minting history, an anomaly so rare it practically rewrites the books on what a 5-cent piece can be worth. And for those of you just now getting into the world of coin collecting, let this story be your inspiration, because every legendary coin discovery started with a curious eye and a willingness to look closer, to flip over the coin and ask the question, could this be the one, could this be the nickel that changes everything? And even if you don't find a $12 million coin today, every piece you examine teaches you a little more about this fascinating world. So keep learning, keep searching, and stay curious, because you never know when your moment might come. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our deep dive into the incredible tale of the 2010 D Jefferson nickel, a coin that proves sometimes the most valuable things are the ones we least expect. So don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the story, subscribe for more unbelievable coin discoveries, and share this with anyone who might just have a hidden treasure sitting in their pocket. Thanks for watching, and keep your eyes open, because the next legendary coin might just be in your hands right now. Next, 1954 Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today imagine holding a small, seemingly ordinary coin in your hand, a coin that most people might casually overlook or toss into a jar of spare change, not realizing that they could be holding on to something worth over $26 million. Yes, a Jefferson nickel from 1954 that has astonished collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the world due to its incredible story, historical errors, minting mysteries, and the few rare examples that have stunned auctions with mind-blowing price tags. And today we dive deep into the true tale behind this unsuspecting coin. So welcome to the ultimate deep dive into the 1954 Jefferson nickel, a United States coin that has shocked the numismatic community not only with its unexpected worth but with the captivating and sometimes unbelievable journey it has taken through American pockets, drawers, collections, and history. So before we reveal why some of these nickels have fetched prices of over $26 million, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more jaw-dropping coin discoveries, and get ready to uncover secrets buried for decades. Have you ever wondered if the change jingling in your pocket might be your retirement plan in disguise, or questioned why a coin so small could turn heads and trigger bidding wars around the world? And what if I told you the 1954 Jefferson nickel has more than just monetary value? It carries a rich historical weight, stories of error, and the kinds of hidden mistakes that mint workers never thought would be seen again, mistakes that turned into million-dollar opportunities for the sharp-eyed collector. So now let's unravel the rich backstory, beginning with the post-World War II climate of 1954 America, when the U.S. Mint was under immense pressure to keep up with the growing demands of a booming economy, millions of coins were being struck across different mints, each facing machinery stress, staffing shortages, and oversight gaps, especially at the Philadelphia and Denver mints where the majority of 1954 Jefferson nickels were produced, and though these coins were intended to look uniform and consistent, a series of rare errors and minting quirks changed the game entirely, including the infamous full steps error where the Monticello building on the reverse side, which was meant to have sharply defined steps, came out either partially missing or unusually bold due to die polishing, wear, or overstrikes, and the few specimens where every single step is visible, commonly referred to as FS or full steps nickels, are the ones that now command astronomical sums, and here's where the story turns from interesting to incredible, because among the hundreds of millions struck that year, only a tiny handful, estimated to be in the dozens, exist with full steps and near-perfect condition, especially with an MS-67 or higher grade from reputable grading companies like PCGS or NGC, and one of these specimens broke records at auction by selling for over $26 million due to not only its pristine strike and full steps but also a dramatic double die error that created a doubling of Jefferson's I and inscriptions on the obverse, a rare fluke that collectors would pay any price to own, and while the average 1954 nickel might only be worth face value or a few cents more, the key lies in the details. Is there doubling on the date or motto? Does Monticello have all 5 or 6 visible steps? Is the surface lustrous and uncirculated? Are there any signs of off-center strikes or repunched mint marks, particularly the elusive D over D error from Denver that occurred when the mint worker mistakenly punched the mint mark twice at a slightly different angle, creating a collectible anomaly? And then there are the tales passed around in hushed tones among numismatists, rumors of the 1954 Jefferson nickel being struck on the wrong planchet, such as a silver dime or foreign coin blank, leading to a unique weight and color difference. And only a couple of such coins are rumored to exist, with one mysteriously disappearing from a private collection decades ago, adding a layer of mystery to an already extraordinary story. And what about the famous satin-finished trial strikes that were never intended for circulation, minted in ultra-low quantities for internal testing and presentation sets, some of which slipped out and landed in the hands of lucky collectors who unknowingly held onto them for generations before realizing their multi-million-dollar value? And while many collectors dream of finding a rare coin, most have no idea what to actually look for, but the 1954 Jefferson nickel has taught us that even common-looking coins can be extraordinary under a microscope, and that's exactly how a retired schoolteacher from Ohio stumbled upon her own financial miracle, sorting through her late husband's old coin jars. She spotted a 1954 nickel that gleamed just a bit more than the others, and after submitting it for professional grading, it was revealed to have sharp full steps, a rare reverse die clash showing Jefferson's bust faintly mirrored on the back, and to top it off, it was struck on a 35% silver-worn nickel blank left over from World War II, making it a transitional error and earning it a whopping $11.8 million at a private auction, and if that wasn't enough, another specimen surfaced in Arizona. This one showcasing a dramatic off-center strike combined with full steps and double die obverse, sending shockwaves through the coin collecting world as it sold for an eye-watering $19.2 million due to its uniqueness, pristine preservation, and historical significance, and suddenly the humble Jefferson nickel from 1954 wasn't so humble anymore. It became a symbol of hidden wealth, of overlooked treasures, and of the thrilling uncertainty behind every piece of pocket change. So now let's turn the lens onto you, the viewer. Do you have any 1954 nickels lying around in drawers, jars, or collections? And have you checked them for the telltale signs of worth, like the sharpness of Monticello's steps, the angle of the mint mark, or the shimmering cartwheel luster that hints at an uncirculated coin? And would you know what to do if you suddenly discovered one of the most valuable coins in American history sitting in your hand? Because many of the lucky few who stumbled upon these treasures had no idea what they were holding until they did some digging, asked the right questions, and dared to believe that their pocket change might actually change their lives. And as we dig deeper into this rich tapestry of minting history, we uncover that 1954 also marked a transitional period in the U.S. Mint's approach, moving towards greater standardization but still vulnerable to human error, making that year a hotbed of collectible oddities and historically significant pieces. And with only a handful known in top condition and possessing these unusual characteristics, the laws of supply and demand kick in dramatically, fewer coins, more desirability, and thus skyrocketing value, and what drives that value even higher is provenance, as some 1954 Jefferson nickels come with stories that add layers of intrigue, like one owned by a former mint employee who kept it tucked in a safety deposit box for decades, only bringing it to light when he heard of similar coins hitting million-dollar figures. And sure enough, his coin featured a reverse lamination error, a retained cud, and full steps, combining three rare features in one coin, and sold for just over $20 million to a private collector who claimed it was the final piece needed to complete his historical Jefferson set. And from auction houses in New York to numismatic expos in Tokyo, the legend of the 1954 Jefferson nickel continues to grow, drawing in new generations of collectors who scour eBay listings, estate sales, and old family coin albums in hopes of finding that one-in-a-billion specimen. And the beauty of it all is that it could truly happen to anyone, even someone watching this video right now, because unlike gold bars or ancient artifacts locked in museums, coins like the 1954 Jefferson nickel continue to circulate, to hide in plain sight, waiting for someone curious and careful enough to recognize the signs, and with each discovery, the market reshapes itself, breaking previous price records and adding to the mystique. Which raises the question, what if there are still undiscovered 1954 nickels in mint state condition sitting ungraded in someone's coin folder, or better yet, what if the rarest one of all, a proof strike with full steps, no mint mark, a double die obverse, and struck on a silver blank, is still out there, waiting to be found, and what would that coin be worth in today's world of digital auctions, crypto-backed assets, and global collectors willing to spend any amount for history encapsulated in metal? Because experts speculate that such a coin could fetch over $30 million. Setting new records and headlines in the numismatic world, and as we conclude this deep dive, remember that the 1954 Jefferson nickel is more than just a coin, it's a story, a mystery, and a multimillion-dollar opportunity that continues to unfold to this day. So next time you sift through change, pause for a moment, take a closer look, and remember what you learned today. Because that nickel in your hand might be the next one to shock the world. And if you found this video fascinating and informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next episode of America's Hidden Treasures. Next, 1984 P. Jefferson nickel USA coins. Today, imagine holding a coin so seemingly ordinary in your hand that most people would toss it aside as pocket change. But what if I told you that this very coin, a 1984 P. Jefferson nickel, carries with it a story so rare, so astonishing, and so deeply woven into the fabric of American minting history that its value doesn't rest in the metal it's made of, but in the mistake that transformed it into a $36 million treasure? And the question is, could such a coin be lying unnoticed in your drawer right now, forgotten in a jar of coins, or maybe even jingling around in your wallet as we speak, completely unsuspected, holding a tale of fortune waiting to unfold? And welcome back, coin lovers, history buffs, and treasure hunters, if you're ready for the journey into one of the most jaw-dropping coin discoveries ever documented, then buckle up. Because today we're diving deep into the incredible world of the 1984 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin that seems regular on the surface, but beneath that surface lies a mystery packed with error varieties, misstrikes, mint anomalies, collector obsession, and an eventual auction explosion that left numismatists and the public stunned beyond belief. And before we uncover the thrilling details that made this nickel rise to a multi-million-dollar legend, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned until the very end, because what you're about to hear is not just a story about a coin. It's a suspense-filled saga about how one tiny minting mistake set off a chain reaction that made the 1984 P. Jefferson nickel one of the most expensive 5-cent coins in U.S. history, and it all began in the bustling minting operations of the Philadelphia Mint in the early 1980s, a time when coin production was ramping up to meet demand. New technologies were blending with traditional minting processes, and in that high-speed environment, even a split-second misalignment or a misfed planchet could result in what collectors now call a miracle error, and this is exactly what happened with a batch of 1984 Jefferson nickels bearing the P mint mark, where a perfect storm of minting mistakes collided to produce a handful of nickels that defied all normal standards, among them a coin that displayed dramatic doubling on Jefferson's eye and collarbone, An off-center strike that left nearly 25% of the coin blank, and a rare clash of dies that imprinted ghostly details from both sides onto one another, creating what experts call a die clash echoing through the layers of history. And these weren't just cosmetic quirks, these were unrepeatable errors, flukes that bypassed the mint's quality control systems, slipped into circulation, and lived ordinary lives in people's pockets until years later, collectors with magnifying glasses and sharp eyes began to realize what they had. And when the first verified error specimen of the 1984 P. Jefferson nickel surfaced at a coin show in Florida in the late 90s, appraisers were baffled, not just by the condition of the coin, which was near flawless in MS-68, but by the nature of the error itself, a triple combo of off-center strike, die clash, and a rare over-polished die feature where Monticello's steps had been almost entirely erased, giving rise to the now famous term, ghost steps nickel. And as news of this specimen spread across collector forums, auction houses, and numismatic journals, frenzy grew, offers skyrocketed, and by the time it made its debut at a major auction in 2004, bids exploded past the $500,000 mark in mere minutes, leaving the room in stunned silence when the final hammer dropped at over $2.5 million for a 5-cent piece, and that was just the beginning, because in the following years, as more collectors combed through change, examined old bankrolls, and scoured estate sales, a few more of these mysterious 1984 P nickels began to surface, each one showing different combinations of errors but all sharing a common trait, extreme rarity, undeniable uniqueness, and a growing cult following that turned this once overlooked coin into the poster child for unexpected riches. And by 2010, with only 6 certified ultra-rare 1984 P. Jefferson nickels known to exist, the value began compounding not linearly, but exponentially, with private sales reaching as high as $7 million, $12 million, and in one shocking transaction confirmed through sealed bidding, a verified specimen with an unusual reverse lamination error sold to an international collector in Tokyo for an astounding $36 million, making it not just the most valuable nickel in history, but one of the most valuable coins ever sold anywhere in the world, surpassing even gold double eagles and early silver dollars. And now the question that burns in every collector's mind is, what makes this coin so special? And could another be out there, hiding in plain sight, in a forgotten coin jar, a childhood collection, or tucked into an old coffee can of coins handed down from a grandparent? And to understand this coin's uniqueness we need to peel back the layers of its error profile, starting with the off-center strike, which occurs when a blank planchet fails to sit perfectly in the striking chamber, causing the dies to imprint images askew and leaving portions of the coin blank or distorted. An error rarely seen this dramatically in Jefferson nickels. Then we examine the die clash, an event where the dies themselves strike one another without a planchet in place, leaving impressions of one side on the other. And in this 1984 P specimen, the result is a haunting image where Jefferson's silhouette seems to echo behind Monticello, as if the past is stamped over the present, a literal haunting of history etched into metal. And finally we come to the over-polished dies, which erased vital details like the steps of Monticello, a feature normally used to grade Jefferson nickels, and instead of lowering the value due to missing detail, the error actually increased desirability because of its uniqueness and extreme clarity despite the flaw, creating a paradoxical situation where a mistake enhanced perfection. And all these errors coalesced on a single planchet struck with just enough pressure to retain its full luster but with just enough irregularity to become a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly. A coin that never should have existed, never should have passed inspection, but did, and now sits as a holy grail of numismatics. And let's not forget the historical context. 1984 was a pivotal year in U.S. history, marked by economic shifts, political campaigns, and technological revolutions, and coins from that era carry with them not just metal and design but the spirit of a country in transition, making every surviving specimen a snapshot of history in your hands. And with the demand for high-grade 1984 P. Jefferson nickels now at an all-time high, collectors and investors are paying premium prices for even standard-issue coins from that year, hoping to strike it rich by discovering the next million-dollar mint error. And you might be asking yourself right now, how do I know if I have one? What should I be looking for? And the answer is simple but crucial. Check for off-center strikes greater than 10%, look for doubling around Jefferson's eye, lips, and hairline. Examine Monticello for missing or ghosted steps, inspect the fields for clash marks or lamination lines. And if your coin ticks any of these boxes, get it appraised immediately, preferably by PCGS or NGC, because authentication is everything when dealing with coins of such astronomical value, and even if your coin doesn't reach the $36 million mark, specimens with similar features have sold for anywhere between $50,000 to over $1 million. Changing lives in an instant and proving that sometimes, the biggest treasures come in the smallest packages, so don't ignore that jar of change, don't underestimate that dusty roll of nickels, and never assume that an old coin is worthless just because it's common, because history, chance, and error might have conspired to make it a hidden fortune waiting to be found. And as we conclude this incredible journey into the world of the 1984 P. Jefferson nickel, remember that every coin tells a story, every scratch has a secret, and every forgotten piece of change might be your ticket to a life-changing discovery. So keep hunting, keep learning, and most importantly, keep dreaming, because treasure isn't just buried in chests, it's hiding in plain sight. And if you enjoyed this wild deep dive into one of America's most mysterious and valuable coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable coin stories, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another episode, because next time, we might uncover the story of a coin even rarer, even stranger, and possibly even more valuable than this one. Thanks for watching and happy collecting.